Hi, it's Emily Leiphart of Art from the Heart, and in this video I'm creating a Paper Smooches card using the Congratulations word die. I'm also featuring the Retro Arrow full card die and the Stars dies. To create my background, I die cut the Retro Arrow die to use as a stencil. Since this is a congratulations card, I want the arrows pointing upward to represent positive encouragement and success. I'll die cut the Congratulations word die for the sentiment when the card base is finished. It's a long die and spans almost the entire width of the card. If you wanted to shorten it and use congrats, you could just cut off the die cut after the T and join it with the S at the end of the word. There are so many things you can do with this die since it has an edge around the main design. I'm going to use Dreamweaver's pearlescent embossing paste. It's mostly white with a touch of silver and shimmer. You can see how easily it is to remove the border. I couldn't decide whether I wanted it on or off for stenciling, but in the end I should have just left it on. For my final design though, it didn't really matter since the rest of the background is covered up by the colored cardstock. I tape down the die with masking tape and apply the embossing paste, smoothing it down with the back of a palette knife as flat as possible. When that's done, I quickly remove the mask and leave it to dry. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes depending on how thick you lay on the paste. While I'm waiting for the embossing paste to dry on the card base, I die cut the Retro Arrow die twice from red and yellow cardstock. I remove the borders from both die cuts and swap them to create a contrasting frame for each. After the paste has dried, I test each arrow background to determine which one I want to use. Since I want to use a dark sentiment, the panel with the yellow in the center works better. I die cut the Congratulations word die from dark brown cardstock. At first I think I want to create a ring using the pink circle dies to highlight the sentiment, but the background is already quite busy, so I decide against it. First I'll adhere the arrow die panel to the card base with score tape. This holds the border to the center and will keep both pieces on the card base. I have to fold the card first, since flattening it will be harder once the front panel is in place. The Congratulations word die comes in 4 separate pieces, 5 if you count the little dot for the eye. As I mentioned in another video, the easiest way to maintain the die in its truest form is to use the negative when adhering the pieces to the card. I'm sliding my grid mat in place so I can use it to line up everything. Once I have the sentiment positioned where I want it, I use masking tape to hold it in place against the card base and to the mat so it doesn't move. Then I take my zig glue pen and trace inside the script. I add each section one by one, and I use my tweezer beads to help push the cardstock into the adhesive. Sometimes I use the protective rubber tip and other times the curved back edge. Both are handy in different scenarios. This is definitely a tool I can't live without. When all the pieces are adhered, I carefully peel up the negative with one hand while pushing down on the positive die cut with the tweezers. I've die cut a gold star using the Stars dies to use as the dot over the eye. I fiddle with it to see if it looks better straight or angled, behind the cross of the T or in front. It looks best in front on an angle. I die cut a few more gold stars to embellish the front of the card. I can't do anything random, so I have to move the stars around quite a bit before they look right. There must be some kind of formula for this, but I haven't figured it out yet. I have to go by instinct on what feels and looks right for my design. For some reason that thick outline star looks way too heavy on the bottom. When I move it to the top it looks perfect. Funny how that happens. Then the rest is easy and I can adhere all the stars to the card with glossy accents. The center star is the only element popped up with foam tape. Although this card is very flat and easy to mail, it has a lot of impact with the bright colors, embossing paste, an arrow background, and sparkly stars. Now my card is done. Thank you for all your comments in my giveaway video to celebrate 1,000 YouTube subscribers. The lucky winner of the Posse Icons dies, tag stitch die, gold sequins, and pastel pencils is Mel Lee. Congratulations, Mel. You can contact me using the email address on my blog and I'll get your prize mailed out to you right away. Please refer to the supply links below if you're interested in any of the products I used in this video. You can also visit my blog for stills and more information about my cards. Thanks so much for watching.